Hello racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. Actually, our 2016 opener for Hastings Racecourse. Mike Heads here with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the 8 races on the Sunday, April 17th program. It's great to be back in action.
It is, and nice card they put together for opening day, as Mike mentioned, which is Sunday, April 17th. 2 stakes on the card.
2 stakes, two nice allowance races for the three-year-olds, one for fillies, one for colts and geldings. So you're going to see some premier horses running on the Sunday program, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the first edition of the Swift Thoroughbreds.
Yes, Swift kicked in. They're always great contributors.
Great supporters
the
of
Kemeneys
racing.
And the Macheys have been great contributors to horse racing in general, just buying horses and bringing horses here. Also, they like to contribute in other ways, and it's great to see them fund this particular race, and hats off to them.
And big shot to win it as well.
Yeah, it could get some of that money back, but as always, a big thank you to Swift Thoroughbreds. They're continued supporters at the sales. They claim, they buy horses. They do
the
it
ones
all.
they brought in throughout the years. One of those horses now in the Hastings Racing Club shooting jacket, of course.
Yeah, and they've put horses in the recent Hastings horse sale that was a successful endeavor on March 26th. They sold some horses to keep them here in BC. We wintered them, and then were sold and dispersed amongst other owners, which was great. So, as I mentioned, big contributors, and great to see great to see a Swift Thoroughbred race named in their honor. Let's get into the opener, Drew. I got 5 3-year-old fillies.
One of the year, yeah.
Yes, race number 1. Let's see if we can get the season started on a winning note. 5 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. All races are 6 furlongs. For the afternoon. Yeah. I went to the 5-horse, Princess Katie, really not a super clever pick. This horse has been racing down in Southern California, racing fit, has speed. Ran into it, that Bellementary that she lost to last time. She had to hook that one, and she went on to run behind Songbird in a grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks, and she got beat by a quality filly that day. She's coming home, getting in against a lot easier horse. Princess Katie is the horse to beat, I think, with the winter conditioning. And as long as she ships well back up here to Hastings, then I think she has to win the money. The only other horse that probably beat her is a 3-horse Hippie for the Swift Thoroughbreds and Dino Condolineos. The blinkers come off. All 4 races last year were in blinkers. She started off her career with a nice win, then ran a good third behind the champion filly Ciudad Eau Claire in the BC Cup debutante, and then was off the border in the next 2. But she seems to be progressing mentally. I think Dino's confident enough to take the blinkers off her. She's trained brilliantly this spring. I saw her paddock school, actually some taping on Thursday, and she looked great. And Hippie is, I would think, the runner-up.
The biggest threat to Princess
And I put the 1 Texas Alley Cat in for third. That was the next best one for me. She did win going 3.5 furlongs last year. But has been training well for a top outfit. And, I went 5-3-1, but I think Princess Katie with the big edge of winter racing is going to be awfully tough.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add. I have the same horses, Princess Katie on top, as you mentioned, especially that third and hooked into Bellementary, as you mentioned. Very nice filly. They went in 22-1, 44-4. That's pretty quick. Going 7 furlongs there at Santa Anita. Did hang on for third. Has the conditioning. She is your horse to beat in here. I put Hippie, as you mentioned. She looks next best for me as well. I got her in second and Texas Alley Cat in third. 5-3-1 for me.
Even if Princess Katie wasn't winter raced, she'd still be the favorite. She's still the horse to beat. But what an added bonus that she has been winter.
Great record here at Hastings too. Her first start, she won the sales stakes. Came back in the futurity. Got beat 4 lengths. That was over a sloppy track. As it looks right now, they will have a fast track on Sunday.
Looking good. Looking for it's going to be hot. It's supposed to be
it's supposed to be a beautiful day for
mid-20s. We're going to have a fast track.
First day of racing. Second race is a 3-year-old and up maiden, 4,000, going 6 furlongs. As Mike mentioned, all these races are run at 3/4 on opening day. I've gone to the rail horse here, Cherokee War Chant out of the Troy Taylor barn for the North American Thoroughbred Horse Company. David Lopez ride. I thought last year it took Dave maybe a couple weeks to get adjusted to Hastings. He's had a full year here now. I think he's going to get off to a great start. This horse looks very live for me. Good second for Maiden 8 in Phoenix. Came back for 12.5, which was a little bit deeper. Drops in here first start. That was in February, so he's had some winter racing. Comes in here third start of his life just a few months after that. He's a War Chant. I think he's very tough in here. Went Cherokee War Chant on top. Of the 3, let's have a double. Jon Snow had a tough year last year, a very unlike Jon Snow year. And I think
Horses dictate years sometimes.
Exactly.
You don't always have them. Like
didn't necessarily have a lot of
some years
bullets
are
last
developmental years for you have a lot of two-year-olds
Yeah.
or unseasoned 3-year-olds, and it affects your stats.
Exactly, but I can't see him having 2 of those years back to back. I think John gets off to a good start this year. Let's have a double. Just the 1 start last year. I look for him to take a step forward. Been training well in the mornings. I have him in the 2nd spot. And 3rd spot, those are the 2 for me. I couldn't really find somebody for 3rd. I ended up going with Can't Catch the Rabbit, a horse that started to show a little bit of improvement near the end of last year. 2 back, got a 49 buyer, just got beat a half by New Jersey Joe, who we'll see later on in the card. Last year's leading rider, Richard Hamill, in the irons. I put Can't Catch the Rabbit in 3rd. 1, 3, and 6 for me.
Yeah, I just flip-flopped your top 2. I went to the 3, let's have a double. It's a 4-year-old running against a 3-year-old, which I think is a big...
At this time of year,
this time of year at Hastings, it's amazing. The 4-year-olds do defeat the 3-year-olds quite often. The odd 3-year-old does get into the winner's circle against older horses in April and May, but usually you want to side on the more experienced horses, or at least the more seasoned horses. Let's have a double. Just had the 1 race. It was on closing weekend. I like
the fact that he got the race into him,
which was a great educational experience for him. And the horse, didn't run poorly. I mean, the horse ran in mid-pack, but
especially that time of year, you're jumping in every's race.
Everyone's had 7 starts.
Exactly, and you're making your first start.
Yeah, and the work tab's been good. Tyler Walker has been doing a lot of work in the mornings for John Snow, so he gets rewarded with a good chance here on Let's Have a Double. And this horse doesn't need to be an all-star to win this race, and I just think he might be the best value horse in the race. I think the 1 will be the favorite, but I think being a 3-year-old, this horse will get over bad and may win, but I just think maybe the value might be the 3 horse. Let's have a double, and I put the 5 horse, Atala the 1, another older horse that got started late last year, got a little experience, but the work tab's been excellent for Patty Leaney. And wouldn't be surprised to see this one, do some good. Apprentice Jose Asensio.
Gabriel Asensio's son, yeah.
Yeah, it's Gabby Asensio's son. Actually, they'll be riding against each other. The father is on number 2, My Eye Candy, Gabriel Asensio, and the son, Jose Mariano Asensio, is on the 5 horse, Atala the 1. But this horse has been training well and showed a little bit of run last year, showed some speed before tiring. But I mean, once again, was kind of late getting to the races and might be one worth following. Another value maybe horse. I went 3, 1, and 5 in the 2nd race. On to the 3rd, another allowance race.
Nice little race.
Got some 3-year-olds here going 6 furlongs. Got a talented group. These horses will be in stakes races very soon. The first 3-year-old stakes race is on Kentucky Derby Day or Kentucky Derby weekend, and I'm sure you'll see a few of these guys in it. Field of 5 set to go 6 panels, and I went with a 5. Crazy, I didn't fall in love with anyone.
This is one race.
You can make a case for everyone.
Nobody would surprise me.
No. Everyone has some credentials, has a nice resume. Crazy Prophet, to me, once the blinkers came off in those last 2 starts, this horse really turned it around. Looked great. Is this a 6 furlong horse? Yes, he did win going 6 furlongs and 112 and change after a 48 half. But that's the only thing that worries me. Maybe is the distance. He may be a horse that wants to go farther, like he did win the Ascot graduation. And he's trained well, though. Pedro's been on him in the mornings. I'm going to go with him maybe to defeat the 1 horse, Ebony Wario. Who is your horse to beat? He only had the 1 start, beat Fear of the Cat, who won a stake, beat Pseudo Claire, who was a champion.
That was probably the best maiden race of the year.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That he won,
Ebony Warrior looked great. Went to the sidelines after that. Another one that's been training brilliantly for his return. I have him in for 2nd, but I can see him winning by 5 lengths. It wouldn't shock me at all. But I just put Crazy Prophet on top. Put Rock Concert in for 3rd. Horse that did get started well, obviously, last year, and then kind of the form faded as the competition got tougher. But sometimes with 2-year-olds, you get that first good race, you get into the races, and they can only stand a few races. But I mean, when they're so advanced and doing so well, you give them another shot in stakes, and there's some pretty good horses in those races.
I did think he regressed in his 2nd start, but came back and ran a big race in the Futurity. Was right in the mix at the head of the lane.
He fought all the way, and he's got talent. He's a nice horse. He's had a good race mare, Concert Music, who was a stakes winner.
She was a star here,
The works are great, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one rebound with Amadeo Perez aboard and get back in form, in top form as a 3-year-old. I went 5-1-4.
I flip-flopped a lot the top two. I did put Ebony Warrior on top.
That's the horse to beat.
I thought it was a very impressive race last year. As I mentioned, I think that was the toughest maiden special weight we had here for 2-year-olds last year. And in his first start, looked very professional doing it. Obviously, he did go to the sidelines after that. Been training forwardly for a top outfit. I think there's a lot of upside with this horse. That's why I put him on top of Crazy Prophet, the horse you mentioned. Another one working very well in the mornings. But I think I agree. I think he's going to get better as we
Six
stretch
furlongs
out.
might not be his distance. That might be the
Even
only
6.5,
flaw in my plan here.
Yeah,
is that 6?
Even
might be a
6.5,
little too
I think, would
short
be
for him.
more advantageous to him. That's why I put him in the second spot, and I put Power Corrupt in the third spot. Another one that wouldn't surprise me.
No, nice horse.
Yeah,
I had to leave someone off. They're all stakes horses.
exactly. I left off Rock Concert. You left off Power Corrupt.
Yeah.
Last year's leading trainer, Mike Anderson, broke his maiden nice. It came back to win the futurity by a few lengths. Very nice horse there for Doug Clyde, owner, breeder, Doug Clyde. I went 1, 5, and 3 in the third.
Nice to see Skylar Whiteshield, who's up, who's in the tack.
Another nice addition to our jockey colony here this year.
He's been riding in Edmonton. He was in Phoenix throughout the winter. He's a really polished rider. I've got a chance to see him in the mornings, and Skylar's, he's a real deal. He's a cool rider, and rides the track well, or looks like he's going to get some wide mounts. And if you get a chance to bet on Skylar, you see him on your horse, bet him.
Don't be scared.
He'll get the job done.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let that scare you. Next race, the fourth race, is Affiliate Mare claiming 4,000 non-winners of the year. I went down to the rail, the 1 CA Miss, another Jon Snow horse here. You look back at the start of the year last year, she went down. Non-winners of the year, crushed. Won by almost 4 lengths. Finds a similar field here. I think she's absolutely your horse to beat. Breaks from the inside under Bug Boy Jose Asensio. The second spot, I put the only threat to her. I dig that. Another former Jon Snow horse. It was claimed off John last year. And when she was down near the bottom, racing for 4,062.50, another really honest, solid mare. Last year's leading rider, Richard Hamill, looks like she's been training very well for this. Those are the two for me, and I put Haida in the third spot, but I think it's 1, 5, 5, 1. I couldn't decide. I did put CA Miss on top. I went 1, 5, and 8.
Yeah, I agree. I went 5-1, but I think I agree. To me, on paper, looking at it, as much as you can judge a race when all of them have been off 6 months, it looks like 5-1 or 1-5 on paper. I dig that just because of the speed factor, the 6 furlongs. This mare is very fast, and she likely will take advantage of the distance, and it may not get caught. Not a lot of speed in the race. I think she's going to blast off to the lead and play catch me if you can. Her work has been great for Roddy Theris, and I went to her to win it with, like as you mentioned, Richard Hamill. The one horse CMS had some tough races. Last 2 races were against the boys.
Yeah.
I mean, she couldn't get races to fill at the end of the year. Running against.
And she was running those allowance races, those starter races.
Starter
which
races
were very tough.
Those 4 starters were tough.
Yeah. And she was right there.
And Habita was in form. I mean, there were some nice horses. She finally gets back in against. These are more her friends, CMS, and she too is trained well for Jon Snow. So I agree. It's 1-5 or 5-1.
Yeah.
But I did go 5-1.
I'd take both of them. Yeah.
I put the 3 horse fourth in command for third. Horse that had some good races last year. Started off the season a little higher, and got down to the 4,000 level, but performed admirably. Craig's always one to keep an eye on anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't decide. I thought Zanita Rose for my third horse. I looked at fourth in command. I ended up with Haida Guai, but definitely those two, the 1 and the 5, are the tough ones.
They look like it, and they look like they're going to get the good trips too. So I went 5-1 and 3 in race number 4. On to the 5th race. Started late pick 4, $4,000 Colson Gelding Sure going 6 furlongs. Got a big gate full of 10 of them, and I'm going to try the outside post of DJ Snow. I see a bit of speed in here.
Yeah.
I see This Is the Moment going. Also see the 5 Leos in the house. Swiss Arrogant will contribute to the pace.
He will be going.
Passion Red will contribute to the pace. There's at least 3 or 4 of them. DJ Snow doesn't need the hot pace to win, but he certainly might get it.
It won't hurt him, exactly.
Easier. And this horse has been running against some pretty cool horses last year before tumbling down to the 4,000 level and winning quite nicely in his last start. He's trained well too. Amadeo gets a ton of run out of this horse. He's a quiet rider that finishes well on horses. They do fire for Amadeo, and this horse, I think
they get along very well. Yeah.
I put the 5 horse Leo's in the house. He's a cool dude that's won a lot of races throughout his career. I put him in for second with Ruben Lara, who's in town from Edmonton.
Yeah.
And number 1, This Is the Moment, who also gets a good draw, has some speed. I think there's better horses in the race than This Is the Moment, but he does have the advantageous inside draw. Excellent connections, Mike Anderson and Richard Hamill, so you got to respect that one.
Yeah.
I went 10, 5, and 1.
I got the same horses. I agree. I think DJ Snow's the horse to beat here. As you mentioned, there should be enough speed to set him up.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, not that he needs it, but I like the fact, too, that he's in the 10. Amadeo can keep him out of trouble. He should find a nice, cozy spot on the outside, make one run.
Yeah.
It looks tough to beat. I put This Is the Moment in the second spot for me. As you mentioned, top connections. Finished out last year with a bang, 2 straight wins, winning his non-2, his non-3. He fits well into this non-winners of the year category, and I put Leo's in the house here. Second pick, he's my third pick, 10, 1, and 5 for me in the 5th. On to the 6th, we start the stakes section, the Brig House Bells. Fillies and Mares going 6 furlongs, field of 7 signed on here. This is a race I had a bunch of trouble with because you can make a case, not even this one.
We got a good mare division.
We do, and this one isn't even as tough as the boys one. And yeah, it's not, I mean, we still have to see Arabella's Muse, who was well on her way to being top older mare last year when she was sidelined, and Touching Promise, who took over beautifully for her, winning her second straight Ballerina. Both of them are not in here. And now we get all the 3-year-old girls, or a lot of the 3-year-old girls, stepping up into the old open company. I did go with an older horse. I went with Rather Beautiful. Her first start here last year, I thought, could not have been more impressive.
Best mare.
And she just was not the same after that. Really struggled after that. Now she's had all winter off, and if she's right, it looks like she's been training well, been working very well for a top outfit. Rico Walcott flies in to ride her. A lot of things like Rather Beautiful. If she's on her game, she's going to be a handful, but she's going to have to be on her game to beat number 7, Majestic Presence. A really nice filly that was running in the Southern California circuit. Twice got beat just a few lengths, 2 lengths by Take Charge Brandy, who was a top 2-year-old filly in the country. Came up here for one race. Obviously, she wasn't 100%, maybe she didn't ship well or something happened. Just ran once, but she's been training up a storm coming into this race, and she definitely has the talent to overtake Rather Beautiful. But the fact that she's 5, going against a 4-year-old, that only had a few races last year, I did put Rather Beautiful on top of Majestic Presence. Those are the 2, though. I put Morning Coffee in for 3rd of the Rosie Anderson barn. Another really nice filly that had a very rough trip in the Oaks. Otherwise, she would have been a perfect 3 for 3 here at Hastings last year. Don't discredit her. Pedro Alvarado rides for the Wheeled and Thoroughbreds. I went 4, 7, and 2.
Yeah, I've got the same 3, but this is a good race.
Race.
I went Majestic Presence on top, but it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
I think she's likely the most talented filly in the race. She's been freshened up. It was great to see her get a break. She's come back. She's looked great this spring. I've watched her work 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
she is really
on her game.
On her game and looking great. Last year when she got here after the California grind, she was trying to get to the Kentucky, or Jerry Hollendorfer was trying to get to the Kentucky Oaks, and it just didn't work out. But
as you can see, she ran once
she
and
was
went
sour.
to the sidelines. Yeah.
When you get them fillies aren't on their game, they get sour. They won't beat anyone. She couldn't win a first condition race at Santa Anita, and she's running 4th in grade 1s prior to that.
Yeah.
So when you're not on the game, you can tell.
She was going the wrong way.
And she came here, did surface, ran 3rd, but that wasn't the real Majestic Presence.
Yeah.
I think you'll see the real Majestic Presence on Sunday. I'm going to try her to win it. Put the 4-horse Rather Beautiful, I agree, is likely the best mare on the grounds. Between her and Majestic Presence, they're 2 great mares.
Yeah.
They're 2 with tons
that
of
race,
potential.
her first race here last year couldn't have been more impressive.
Like all horses can't stay 100%. I mean, horses put a lot of energy and work into their race, and sometimes they get little things go on, and that happened to her, and it was a little tough to get her back to where she was, and she ended up needing the rest of the season off after the Ballerina, but she's worked brilliantly this spring. She might be a filly that can fire fresh, and I agree with Morning Coffee for 3rd. Another one freshened up, California grind, came here, still ran well at Hastings, though.
Really well, yeah. And a brutal trip in the Oaks, too.
Yeah, no, it was awful. Yeah. But she's live in here.
Yeah.
Avadiva's coming up fresh from
It's
Phoenix.
another one I looked at, the fact that she's coming in, she's been racing,
class.
But she's got fitness
I'm not
edge.
saying she doesn't lack class, but she has proven, she's been running in allowance races. She needs to prove she's a stakes filly, but she's fresh. I mean, she's been racing. She's fast. She has speed. 6 furlongs might be perfect for her. Sabrina is live going 6 furlongs.
Really
for
live,
the
yeah.
Quattrocat,
well. She did very few things wrong last year.
Cool I mean, this is a really quality field, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think trip will dictate a lot as to who wins. 6 furlongs is a tough trip for a lot of these horses because it is a short run to the first turn. You need luck. It isn't the best horse that wins going 6 panels. That's why I like 6.5. I'm not a big fan of 6 furlong races at all.
Yeah, I would rather
not
seen
see any of
6.5.
because it's a tough race. 4 horses generally get a poor trip out of a 8-horse field just because of the dynamics of our track. So 6.5 at least lets them settle. But anyway, this is 6 furlongs. You know, you want to get on the lead if you can, and maybe Sabrina can. But there's a lot of chances in this race. I think both Drew and I agree that Majestic Presence in the 7 and the 4 horse, rather beautiful, are kind of the class of the field, and are going to be awfully tough. On to the boys' end, the older geldings.
Speaking of tough,
in
this
the
one's
inaugural.
tough.
Yeah, the Swift Thoroughbreds inaugural, 6 panels, got a field of 8 going postward. I've gone to the 2 modern, or the Swift Thoroughbreds. This horse, he's a cool horse. He should have won more races. He's just unlucky to get collared in some races where he was, you know, getting pressured, going
44, 44.
fractions, going 9 furlongs. And he's a neat horse. And
that first race off the bench last year could not have been more impressive. That's why what I really like about him in the George Royal.
He got pressured the whole way, held off.
Every time he put a horse away, somebody else would come at him.
He never got a break. I know there was like 3 different horses coming at him. It's like one of them Todd Pletcher workout or Bob Baffert workouts where they do that.
Exactly.
They work. When they have a good horse, they just have one, and then one backs off. Then here comes another one coming. It's all a scheduled workout to get this. The good horse.
Turn him into a fighter,
And but Modern was brilliant, as you mentioned, off the bench last year. I think he's the horse to beat. I put the 1 Hollywood Angel. Don't know much about the horse, but he looks like he's got a great form coming in from Golden Gate for one of our all-time great owners, Peter Redekop, and Anita Bolton. So that horse deserves respect. And I thought Cedarburg was the best of the Glenn Todd North American Thoroughbred runners. Got the 3, 7, and 8. At this distance, I think Cedarburg might be the best, so I put that one in for third. I went 2, 1, and 3.
I took a bit of a flyer here. I put Cedarburg on top just because I think Hollywood Angel shows a lot of speed. I mean, you look at his last race. So it was going to mile 16th, but if you go back to his Parks race, he was, right near the lead there too.
Could be.
And
Rico can get him out of there. Rico's good.
He's in the 1 hole. He's got Modern. I see those 2 hooking up, and that could compromise both their chances. And Cedarburg, I think, is going to be in the perfect spot. That's why I put him on top with Modern second and Hollywood Angel third. But a wide open race here. If the pace does start to fall apart, a horse that has been running well is Don't Hold Me Back out of the Steve Henson barn. He's got a nice closing style. Lord Rosberg never really got into the races last year, spent some time down at Portland. He should be looking forward to a good year. He's a beast coming off a win at Phoenix. Shooting Jacket, Hastings Racing Club 2, former Swift horse. He just got beat a neck in the SW Randall Plate last year behind Square Dancer. He's got some class. Highway Boss, another one. What was it?
Yeah, there's some neat horses in here. He's coming
3
up from
starts
70.
ago. Yeah, he comes up
for 62. There are a lot of them are better going longer, like Highway Boss, Shooting Jacket, Don't Hold Me Back, can probably sprint. Lord Rosberg might be a little better. He's probably pretty versatile. So the inside 3.
Yeah, I went with Mike. I'm on the inside 3. I did put Cedarburg on top just because of the trip. I think that he gets an advantageous trip. I went 3, 2, and 1 in the Swift Thoroughbreds inaugural. On to the final race on opening day, a 4,000 non-2 for 3-year-olds and up.
The good 4,000 non-2s.
Exactly, a field of 9. I went to New Jersey Joe here. I picked this horse a lot last year. I really like this horse out of the Mike Heads barn. Now a 4-year-old son of Fusashi Pegasus. Really good record. He had those 2 kind of rough starts for 8. When he went down to 4, he was right there every time. Just throw out that one at the very end of the meet, and you look, he's second. Got a win. Looks like he's been training for this. Mike Anderson was our leading trainer last year. I got New Jersey Joe on top of Nana's Buddy. Nana's Buddy's a solid little horse too. Gabriel Senzo rides this horse very well. I can see him being right there too. I tossed between those 2. I ended up with New Jersey Joe on top of Nana's Buddy. And I looked around. I went to Clear to Victory in the 3rd spot. When you look at his first start here last year on the 26th of April, for 16,000, got beat at half by Mighty Fraser, who went on to win a stake last year. So Fire's good off the bench. He's been trained up with Kamloops. Pedro Alvarado takes the call. I put him in the 3rd spot, 5, 6, and 1 for me.
Yeah, I've got the same 3 horses. I did go to New Jersey Joe. I didn't love anyone in this race.
Yeah.
These are not your most trustworthy horses. If you have a chance to
betting to pick four
play a
something,
few
go
horses in here,
go deep.
do it, because New Jersey Joe is 6 furlongs might not be his best distance, but we'll see. But I thought he's been training well. I've seen him work. The connections are good. Skylar Whiteshield's a really nice rider. I think you'll enjoy watching him this year. I put the one horse Cleared to Victory in for second. I agree with you that the horse should be in the mix. Had some tough runs early in the year. Got near the fall and just, kind of fallen out of form.
Yeah.
Just because some of them races early in the year can get a horse soured up. And
even that second he had
changed barns.
2 back. That was a crackdown. A horse was taking a big drop down to the $4,000. So he did run into tough horses.
Crackdown one for maiden 25, I think, and then ended up showing up for non-2-4. And that's unlucky to Cleared to Victory because the horse probably shouldn't even be eligible because it should have won that particular day.
Yeah.
If you didn't run into a horse like that. But he's been working in Kamloops. Not sure about, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We'll see how fit he is coming into the race, but it's great to see Pedro on the tack. And I agree with Nana's body. He's always kind of consistent at this level. Didn't really love anyone. Mario's Win can jump
I
into
looked
the mix
at him,
as well. Always like to pay attention to speed horses. The 3, One to Believe has some speed with Silvano Morales, who's back in town for Sylvia Gregory. It's kind of a tough little race, though, to get a good handle on. But if you can play a few, please do. It looks like that might be the toughest race in your late Win 4 or your Pick 6 wagers. Well, I'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday program. Next up on screen will be a quick recap of our selections. Here are my picks. Back in race number 1, I did go to the 5 horse, Princess Katie, coming back for the Gilkers, and Ernie Chu. Owner Ernie Chu won a nice stakes race last year, did Princess Katie. I went 5, 3, and 1. Race number 2, I went to the 3. Let's have a double over the 1, Cherokee War Chant, and the 5, Atala the 1. Race number 3, I went to the 5, Crazy Profit, 5, 1, and 4. For me, in a nice little allowance. That's a good race.
Really good
race number 4, went to the 5, I Can Dig That, Speedy Philly, over the 1, CA Miss, and the 3, Fourth in Command. Starting off the late pick 4, I went to the 5, in the race 5, I went to the 10, DJ Snow, 10, 5, and 1 for me in the 5th. Race number 6, I went to the 7 horse Majestic Presence in the Brighouse Bells. I'm going to go 7, 4, and 2. The Swift Thoroughbreds Inaugural. Race number 7, I went to the 2, Modern, 2, 1, and 3. And in the 8th and final, I went to the 5, New Jersey Joe, 5, 1, and 6 for me in the Sunday finale.
Up next will be my picks. There we go. In the first, I agree with Mike on number 5, Princess Katie over the 3, Hippie, and the 1, Texas Alley Cat. In the second, I went to the 1, Cherokee War Chant over the 3 and the 6. In the third, I went down to the rail again, Ebony Warrior over the 5, Crazy Puff, and the 3, Power Corrupt. In the fourth, I went to the 1, CA Miss over the 5 and the 8. In the fifth, I agree with Mike again on number 10, DJ Snow over the 1 and the 5. In the sixth, the Brighouse Bells, I went to the 4, Rather Beautiful over the 7, Majestic Presence, and the 2, Morning Coffee. In the seventh, the Swift Thoroughbred Inaugural. Number 3, Cedarburg over the 2, Modern, and the 1, Hollywood Angel. And in the nightcap, I agree with Mike on number 5, New Jersey Joe over the 6 and the 1.
Well, it's great to be back. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to 2016 Open. We won't forget about Kentucky Derby.
I would be remiss if we
May
did not
7th.
mention 3 weeks.
Nyquist.
3 weeks this
Mario
Saturday.
again, maybe.
Mario looks, same connections, J. Paul Redham, Doug O'Neill, look to bring back a little of the 2012 magic when they did connect with I'll Have Another. Nyquist, your current favorite for the Kentucky Derby, just won the Florida Derby in very impressive fashion.
Seats are filling up fast.
Seats are filling up. There's still some room here at the Derby Bar and Grill, of course. Always go out to Hastings. Great day to go out there and cheer on Mario, trying to get his second Kentucky Derby in 4 years.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun that May 7th day. But our next live card, we will be racing two days a week now. We only have the one day this weekend. We'll be going Saturday, April 23rd, and Sunday, April 24th. So we'll have 7 races on the Saturday, 8 races on the Sunday. Should be a great 2 days. Weather's supposed to be great. We're no better place to be when the weather's great than down at Hastings Racecourse. It is such a pretty backdrop, and as I mentioned, it's great to be back, and should be a lot of fun.
See you next week.
150 first post. 150 will be the first race this Sunday, April the 17th. 8 races on tap. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on Handicappers Corner from the Derby Bar and Grill.